Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your humble host, Phys Music, and this right here, this is Urban Politics. Want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take a little cell phone over to YouTube, preferably after this video. Like and subscribe. Phys Music, Urban Politics. Without further ado, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive because there's all types of tasty and delicious politics to sink our teeth into, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't even messing around. I mean, this is wow, so much food for fodder these days, right? I love how politics has become pop culture. I guess it always was pop culture. Back in the day, there was a guy named Chris Matthews, and his show was so good it like ran twice on MSNBC. That's how good his show was. It would come on at 6, then it'd come on again at 7, and I would watch it twice. Chris Matthews was that dude. His show was amazing because this guy really got into politics and he was really passionate about it. But he always used to say that. He said politics is pop culture. It always has been pop culture. So there it is, right? But it's so popular right now. It's all over the internet. It's all over our social media sites. And being a guy who's been a purveyor of politics, I think probably since I was probably 9, 10 years old, when I go back and even, I've done music back in the day. When I go back and look at some of my rhymes and some of that stuff like that, politics has always been a huge influence in my life. But I didn't really get into it, of course, until I got older. That's when I was like, oh, I really am into this political stuff. So there's that, but I'm going to go ahead and get into the stories of the day, ladies and gentlemen. What are we talking about? I want to talk about Trump versus the GOP. Yeah. You would say, what do you mean Trump versus the GOP? Isn't he their standard bearer? He is their standard bearer. Excuse me. Which is so interesting. Because he's pretty much opposite of everything that the GOP used to stand for. I say used to, because obviously they don't stand for that no more, because like we just said, he's the standard bearer, and this guy doesn't even have some of the attributes you would think, or that Republican standard bearers used to have back in the day. Let's run the laps. Check it out. Party of Law and Order. They have always billed themselves as the party of law and order. The man has 34 criminal counts. Trump is notoriously known for doing bad business. He is a criminal and everybody knows it. Yeah, the GOP is the party of law and order. Okay. Party of family values. This guy had sex with a porn star while his wife was pregnant with their son, Barron. Them ain't family values, ladies and gentlemen. So he don't get that either. Party of religious values. This guy talking about 2 Corinthians. I'm going to tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. My mother's a minister. I've been in the church all my life. Nobody has ever said 2 Corinthians unless they didn't know what they were talking about. It's 2 Corinthians. 2 Corinthians, such and such and such. Nobody says 2 Corinthians. Now, I had a conservative friend going to try to, the agnostic, they do say 2 Corinthians. I've heard that. Man, shut the up, man. Get out of here. You're lying. You're lying. No one says that except someone who's never read the Bible, and that would be Trump. So he doesn't check that box either. So I don't know what the GOP is doing, right? Listen, the GOP would have a fighting chance if they changed candidates. It would never happen. It would never happen because Trump is way too self-indulged, and he's hijacked the party. He didn't hijack it just to give it away to somebody to help them. He hijacked it because he liked being the star boy. He liked being Mr. Spotlight. So he would never fall back and let somebody else get that. Even if they had a better chance against Kamala, he would never in a million years do it because it's all about him. It's a cult of personality, and the personality is his. But the GOP would have a fighting chance if they did get rid of him. If they could get Trump to fall back and put somebody up there against Kamala like a Nikki Haley or somebody who at least has some of these values that are still Republican values, or at least real life conservative values, they'd have a fighting chance in this election. But they won't, so they don't. There's that. Anyway, moving on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Kamala's vice president pick, Tim Walz. Only has 1 DUI, so they said already he's the most responsible driver in Congress. He only got 1 DUI. Brought legal weed to his state, so he's very liberal, this guy. Started calling Trump and the GOP weird, which is the best Democratic talking point in years. I mean, it's actually sticking, right? But I walk with me on this. I think this is where he got it from. It's there's a comedian, Josh Johnson of The Daily Show, and he had made a joke, right, in his stand-up routine, and he was saying some stuff like, why is this even a question between Trump and Biden? You know, Biden should just be able to be like, Trump got a weird case. Why is he around? Why? I thought it was hilarious, right? And then you hear this guy, you know what I'm saying? My man, Tim Walz, calling the GOP weird. And it's a talking point that's sticking. Why? It's easy. It's one word, weird. They are weird. They do weird stuff. So now people are starting to hear that and it's starting to stick. They said even Trump is kind of feeling some type of way that people running around calling him weird. But they always been calling him weird. But he is weird and does do weird stuff. So now that people are saying it, the GOP and the right is mad about it, but it is what it is. But isn't it interesting how that talking point is sticking right now while everybody is... And I'm also, in a minute here, I'm going to talk about more how the Democratic Party has kind of adopted that they're not like us. You know what I'm saying? To try and say that the Republican Party, they not like us. Wow. But I'm not even there yet. But just, you know what I'm saying, dig on that right there. I really think either directly or indirectly, I think Mr. Walz got that idea of calling the GOP weird from Kendrick Lamar. And I say that just shows you how pop culture influences so many things. How politics is pop culture, right? Because I really do think that's where that came from. So, with that said, the GOP is weird. They do weird things. They say weird things. J.D. Vance, who is Trump's vice presidential pick, which I talked about last show, that's horrible. They were saying he's probably the worst vice presidential pick since Sarah Palin. I agree, because he's just he doesn't do anything for Trump. Really, if I put my Republican hat on, he didn't help himself at all getting J.D. Vance. Politically, he does nothing for him. All he's going to do is just be more juice for the base. You already got the base. You didn't need them. You needed to expand the base, and he's not going to do that with J.D. Vance. Anyway, J.D. Vance is going to say that the Democratic Party was full of childless cat women who are mad and bitter. And then his whole thing was, he said, he's going to say, I seen the quote, was crazy. He's going to talk about, if you're ever on Twitter, some of the most crazy and psychotic people are the people who don't have kids. What? Hey, there's plenty of crazy, psychotic people who do have kids. Being a man that has 3, them kids will make you crazy and psychotic. Don't talk to me. You talking about only what? So in his logic, that single people with no kids are the crazy people. Seriously? Seriously? And then that was a joke that they say on The Daily Show. Yeah, the people with plenty of money in their pocket and who still have a sex life and still have friends and still can have a drink, you know, whenever they want to, and can go on vacations wherever they want to, have plenty of disposable income. Yeah, those are the crazy people. But those of us with kids who don't have all that going on, yeah, we're so sane because we have these children. That's stupid. That is the stupidest argument I've heard in my life. It's weird. So there you go. J.D. Vance. You know what I'm saying? That's weird. Why is he now? You got something against people who don't have kids? That's just weird. And to say that people who don't have kids tend to be more psychotic or crazier than people who do have kids is just... Anyway, moving on. That's weird. Moving on. I want to talk about Trump versus the black journalist. If you did not see that interview, please, after this, just put that in YouTube. You know what I'm saying? You could even put it like that probably. Trump versus black journalists, or Trump sits down with black journalists. And see that interview. It was amazing. Sister immediately goes in on him. It was not a softball interview. You know, she basically just opens it up with a line of questioning about, you've done this, you've done that, you know what I'm saying, you came in Obama with the birther stuff, now you come in with Kamala with that stuff, you called 4 women of color, told them to go back to their country. I mean, she was just calling Trump out on a whole bunch of stuff that he didn't like. So then, you know, saying all he can do then is just talk how she's a nasty lady, and how nasty the line of questioning was, and how she was an hour late because of tech issues and all that. Then compared himself to Lincoln. Really? Gonna say best president for black people, maybe better than Lincoln. Somebody needs to tell Trump that Lincoln ain't all that. And he ain't all that in the black community. Black people kind of did the Nas of Lincoln, and we're not as impressed or head over here so that guy like we used to be. You know, people did a lot of digging and it brought up some of his unsavory quotes, like one where he said, if I could keep the Union together, not freeing the slaves. I'm paraphrasing. Then I would do that. You can go look that up. The one where he said there should always be a race that's on top, and I believe that it is the white race. You can go look that up. I'm paraphrasing. So all of this stuff is known by people who look like me, Trump. So why would you think that it's still some kind of flex to say that I've done more for black people? Maybe more than Lincoln. Lincoln didn't do for black people. Lincoln needed warm bodies to fight a war, and that's what he got. He got warm brown bodies to die. That's what he needed. He needed black bodies to die, and that's what he got. You know what I'm saying? And that's why he freed the slaves. Not because he was in love with black folk, but because he needed bodies for a war he was trying to win. And he even said that too. He said, if I could keep the Union together not freeing the slaves, I'd do it. But I don't think I could do it. He didn't add the caveat because I need some more people that die because I ain't about to go out there and fight. He didn't add that. Let me chill out. Anyway, y'all know what's up. So check it out. That's my point. Yeah, whatever. Then claimed that Kamala Harris was Indian. Just became black a minute ago when she was running for president. Come on, man. Get that out of here. You know what I'm saying? Say what you want to about Kamala Harris, but she has always been honest about being black and about being Indian. And when she was running for the nomination against Biden, she was on the Power Morning Show with Charlamagne the God and DJ Envy and all of them. I think Angela Yee was probably still there at that point, or maybe going whatever. She was on that show professing her blackness. You go on that show because you want black people to know that, yes, I am black. And she said, I grew up in Oakland. Come on now. So get out of here. Get out of here with that. That was stupid. That kind of fell flat for real. She had a rally that was off the hook. You know what I'm saying? There was a bunch of people there. Megan Thee Stallion was there. Offset was there. People were swag surfing. Are you serious? Oh my goodness. So then I'm like, okay, GOP and the Trump, they're scared of Kamala. And I think, believe it or not, I think that Trump he might withdraw from the race rather than lose to Kamala. He would rather step down than lose to her, than lose to a black woman. I don't know if he could stomach it. I don't know if he could take it. I think he'd rather drop out and say that it was rigged or something like that. Because if you see, now they act like they're mad. Now they're like, oh, that was actually a coup. It was a coup. For those of you who don't know what a coup is like a military overthrowing of the government, right? So what they're trying to say is that Biden was pushed out of office. Oh, you know what I'm saying? They were saying they were talking about invoking the 25th Amendment and how they were going to get him out of there. They pushed him out of office. They made him do that. That was a coup. That should be investigated. No, that was an old man, right? Who was poised to do the biggest job and biggest honor of his life again, but he stepped down because it's more important to stop you. Think about that, Trump. That's what happened right there. That's what Biden did. Biden tucked his chain. He tucked his chain. And he's gonna let Kamala do her thing because he knows that's the only way to stop Trump. He knows he can't do it this time. He can't do it this time. He did it last time, but he can't do it this time because things are different. Things are different, and people want a different. They want a change, and that's a totally different direction. So there that is. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going on with that. You know what I'm saying? The GOP, low key though, they're working on a Supreme Court victory, which is horrible. But that's one way they like to win elections, ladies and gentlemen. If you've been paying attention, probably not. I'm a political nerd. I've been paying attention. I love it. But I don't love how the GOP, like I said, they are horrible. They're snake oil salesmen, but they're so much better at the game of politics than the Democrats are. So what could happen, and I've heard Charlamagne the God and other people talk about it, what could happen is we have this election, and then Trump does his regular song and dance about something being rigged. We got different people in these different states that'll do hokey things with the vote or put other people up to doing hokey things with the vote and the machines and voting, and they'll find some way to put it in limbo or throw it into the Supreme Court's hands, and then the Supreme Court will hand Trump the victory. That could happen. It happened with George Bush Jr. It seems to be the only way that the right can win an election. They can't do it through a free and honest and open election. They can't do that. And they're done even trying that. They already know their views aren't popular and they're not going to win an election based on the merits. They're not going to win an election based on the numbers. But they will use a packed Supreme Court, packed of conservatives to steal it again. And they've done it before. Will they do it again? We'll see, ladies and gentlemen. Stay tuned. As my friend in journalism would say, Rachel Maddow, watch this space. Watch her space. Watch this space. Watch any space you can, even a conservative space, because you want to know what they're up to. Ladies and gentlemen, that is my time. I'm your humble host, Phys Ed Music. This right here, this is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take a little cell phone over to YouTube, right? Like and subscribe. Phys Ed Music, Urban Politics. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to see you around like a donut.